So this video is going to be all about yarn. The big yarn, the small yarn, and in between. So, welcome to the ultimate guide about yarn. In this video, we're mostly going to cover all the different sizes of yarns and maybe a little bit about color, but there are a couple things you need to know what the size is. There is thin yarn or embroidery floss. You usually use this to sew on things to your guy, like the face and maybe like hair even. I don't know why you would do that, but you might, or maybe even like details for your clothing. And then moving up, there's yarn that you would normally use for making toys or maybe like blankets that are a little bit thinner than using bigger yarns. But I like using this one for toys, this kind of yarn. And then there's where you're starting to get into bigger yarns. This is super bulky yarn. I also really like super bulky yarn for making toys because that makes them bigger and fluffier and just more squishy and fun to play with. And then maybe the craziest yarn. There's the jumbo yarn. Yeah, it's huge. I even need this crochet hook to use it. I mean, have you ever seen a bigger crochet hook in your life? No? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, let's just get right into testing out all the yarns to seeing which one is the easiest, the hardest, and then I'll rate my favorite sizes. I'm going to use the embroidery floss, which I just showed earlier. I'm trying to get the camera to focus in. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to be using my smallest hook, my 3.25 millimeters. Come on, focus. There we go. Alright, I already kind of made a little bitty swatch. Really tiny. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah. It's tiny. You could barely see the stitches. But I honestly think it wasn't super hard. But then again, it's tiny, so I don't know what you would use this for except for micro-amigurumi. But a word of advice. Use a smaller hook. That was not the right hook. Alright, now I'm just gonna frog it because, you guys want to see that. It's just satisfying. Okay, this is the most satisfying thing I've ever frogged. Frogging level, like a 10 out of 10. But I'm gonna actually rate this at the end. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say that frogging was amazing. I'm just gonna make a little ball for this first thing. If I can make a ball. This is already hard. It might just be the magic ring. The magic ring is always super hard. I might end up going with the chain 2 method. Yeah, I'm doing the chain 2 method. Chains were no problem earlier. I'm gonna have to stop here. This is never probably gonna happen when you only have this. Okay. It all got tangled up. I think this fails the amigurumi test. Probably not the right person to test super thin yarn. This is actually the first time I've done thin yarn crocheting. I sewn it on things, but not crochet with it. Sewing with it is, it's fine. It's no problem. Crocheting with it is terrible unless you really like micro amigurumi. If you do and you can do it well, you're amazing. But sadly, I'm not the person who can do that. Our swatch, you know what? It's my dog camera for. Okay, this is much better. Sorry about that. Just gonna continue with our swatch. I feel like this isn't the yarn you would use to make a swatch. Not a swatch, but like a flat object. Same with the tail. guys have ever done that, you know how annoying it is. But hey, I got a frog. I wouldn't also say this is micro amigurumi. I would say this is more, for me, in the middle of embroidery floss and what I would call normal yarn. This might be normal yarn. Yeah, that was pretty good. So I'm gonna rate this later, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably gonna be so good to frog. Let's just try it. Oh yeah, pretty nice. Not as good as the embroidery floss. I'll give that a 9 out of 10, just because I feel like it wasn't as good as the embroidery floss. We should have gone with this yarn first. I'll give this a 10 out of 10 in the embroidery floss. A 12 out of 10. Okay, now time for our amigurumi test. I know I said I was going to make a ball earlier, but I don't think I'm going to do that, just because I don't want to have, I don't want to waste all that time. It surprisingly takes a little bit more time to make a ball than you would think. Oh yeah, it's kind of hard to get the hole closed. Okay, this is where it's hard. Can you even see the stitches? I don't think the camera's gonna focus. But they are tiny. I don't know if you can see it from this far down. But they are absolutely so tiny. What? I can't even see my first stitch. Alright, I'm gonna power through this. I'm gonna do it. Come on! The new yarn is way harder. Okay. I'm not going to even bother to put in my stitch marker, because I am not feeling like doing stuff with this yarn. Yes, I have to use my fingernails for all of them. Oh, that was pretty hard. My hands are already kind of hurting. But, yeah, the hole is hard. It's hard for me to use yarn like this. Alright, it's nice to frog, though. It's hard. Maybe it's not hard for some of you guys, but it's definitely hard for me. Oof. Alright, now let's get into, personally, one of my favorite yarns. Maybe, like, in the middle. Not in the middle. First or second favorite, but let's get in. This is the medium size for, the weight is 4. And this, as I said, is a very great yarn. I love this yarn for making amigurumi. Maybe not as much as no, I think I might like it as much as the bulky yarn I'm going to show you after this. But this is Yarn Beast brand, the mini makers. I really like the mini maker yarns. They're cheap, and they come in small quantities. That's useful for amigurumi, because sometimes you only need a little bit, and that's helpful behind this yarn. I'll go ahead and get a little bit of it out. I'm using a size 6mm. This is the size I'm using for the swatch. For the amigurumi, I like to use my 3.5, so the holes aren't as big. Oh, that's what I get for talking about amigurumi. Let's just start you doing the magic ring. Okay. It is a little bit fuzzy. That's because I'm using this brand is 100% acrylic. I like that about it though. That's not because it's not fuzzy, but 100% acrylic. I like that size. Oh. I always am so surprised about how smooth this is. Like, you heard the squeak. Maybe you heard the squeak from the last one. But this is like, yeah, just like, no squeak. Let's see if you can hear any squeak. Put it up to the microphone. No squeak. Alright, now let's make some double crochets. Oh, yeah. This is just nice. Just glides through my hook. So this swatch test just confirmed what I already knew. That I love this yarn. It's stretchy. It has decent stitch definition. Not the best, obviously, because there's yarns that have really good stitch definition. But very good stitch definition. Because I don't need the best stitch definition. I just need to see the stitches. You can definitely see them. Now for the frog test. How satisfying is it? Okay. I don't know if it's just double crochets, but they're just... I don't know which one was better. The floss or this. This was pretty nice. Yeah, that was really good. Okay, let's get into the amigurumi test. Alright, now we're going to get out a new hook for amigurumi test. My 3.5 millimeter. This one's a little bit squeaky because it's so tight. When it was loose, like when I was doing the swatch, it's not so squeaky. But this one is squeaky. Or maybe it's just, no? Because I was using the bulky yarn with that hook, and I remember it was squeaky. But when you're doing tight stitches like this, yeah, you can hear the squeak. It's not the yarn, by the way, though. It's the hook. This yarn is amazing. Not a yarn, but I'm not going to say it. Can you hear the squeak? I'm going to see. I'm going to put it up to the microphone for a little bit. I don't know if the microphone could hear that, but I know I could hear it. Feel it, too. Focus. Yeah. Pretty tight stitches, and the magic ring is pretty secure. Oh, sorry, I got a stuffy nose. Oh, there's a lot of pollen where I'm at. Whew. Still good with the frogging. It's always, for some reason, hard to frog the magic ring. The stitches around it, they just want to get caught in the tail. We're gonna have to level up this tripod. Just get it up one more setting. So now we're doing super bulky yarn. I'm gonna use my 8mm crochet hook. As you can tell, the yarn is a bit scratchy. Or not scratchy, just fluffed out, because I did recently use this and I had to frog it, but it'll get better. I've never actually done a swatch with this, just toys. I like this hook. It is plastic, but it still is really good with this yarn. Oh yeah. This yarn's pretty nice. Alright, just gonna do some double crochets. Yeah, it's pretty good. Not the best stitch definition, but when you're using super bulky yarn, usually it doesn't have good stitch definition. especially when you're using this. I'm pretty sure this is chenille yarn. Oh yeah, it's pretty good frogging. But I know you can have like super bulky yarn, like the strands. I know I said it was good frogging, but it's my least favorite so far. But it's still okay. Alright, we're gonna get closer on this one. There you go. We are going to do our amigurumi test. Alright, just get the tripod all set up. Alright, magic ring is done. Yep, still pretty nice to work with. Yeah, amigurumi test. That's pretty good. Again, I'm gonna rate it later, but for frogging, maybe it's even better. No, maybe it's not better. Even worse on the magic ring though. When you're frogging to the magic ring, you always have to make sure you're not, see, it creates a knot. I'm not gonna tighten it up, but you can kind of tell that it just created a knot. It doesn't do that with, no, sometimes it does it with the yarn I tested before this, or the size of the yarn that I tested before this, but it especially does it with this super bulky yarn. Well, that's super bulky yarn. Now, we're getting into the monstrosity of all yarns. Not terrible monstrosity, just absolutely, this yarn's just huge. Look at it. This is jumbo yarn, which is so big. We're gonna try to put it in one of the highest settings on this tripod. I don't know if this is gonna fit on my table. Yeah, I can. We're good. Oh, here's the crochet hook we're gonna be using. This is just the biggest crochet hook. Like, it's the biggest one in Hobby Lobby. I have tested this out before, and it is just huge. Okay. I gotta spoil it too much, but last time I tried it was hard. Good. I always have to make sure that the first one is loose so I can get it through, and then I can tighten it afterwards. I can barely hold it. Oh yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Ooh. Oops. I'm just one more chain and go ahead and do my double crochets. Oh man. Ah. Whoa, this is difficult. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can tell, but I already pre-rolled this thing myself. Yes, let's go. Well, here is our work. This is so big. So, yeah. That was so hard to work with. Oh, again, I'm just gonna rate it later. Time for the frog test. Oh. My least favorite, the frog. It just stops and you gotta pull it. And Okay. Oof. Now we're going to attempt to do the amigurumi test. I say attempt because I don't know if I can do it. Let's try it. No, I do 3 fingers. This time I'm using my hand. I have never done amigurumi with this. Chain 1. Now I got our magic ring. Can I do more than like 2 single crochets into this? Oh man. Yeah, that's not happening. No, it's my crochet hook stuck in the stitch. Wait, almost there, come on. Yes, we did it. I'm just gonna frog this all. Whew. We got one more thing to test with this jumbo yarn. I have done this before, by the way, but I've seen all kinds of videos on people hand knitting with this yarn. Yes, I can knit. Not very well, but I can. But I'm going to try to hand knit with this yarn. So we're going to have to go to a different spot for this. We are going to try to hand it. Sorry for the tripod right here. There's not really any way I can fix that with this tripod. Okay. Oh my. This is very nice. This next part, I'm just so excited about to show you guys. It's frogging. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what I did. Yeah, it's okay. The work is okay. The satisfaction and satisfyingness is like amazing. Now we're gonna frog. I love frogging this because look, it just goes back and forth and back and forth, and then you get to your slip knot. All right, that was the jumbo yarn. Ooh. First part was stressful. Second part was peaceful and calm. Now we're gonna go see what I think about this. Actually, we're gonna go on a little trip somewhere. And just gonna bring you guys with me. So I'll meet you at McPhee Park. So now I'm going to rate and rank the yarn sizes. In last place we have the size 7 jumbo yarn. I think it was just because it was just too big. Like, it was less of how hard it was because that was probably my personal tension. I have a tight tension because I make amigurumi or toys, crochet toys a lot, which you need tight tension so you don't have any holes. So if I had looser tension, this would probably not be super hard to work with. But then again, it was just like, it was too big. I had to constantly like wrapping it around instead of just, holding it in my hands. I had to like almost grab it and just wrap it around the hook. And I feel like this would take a very long time to crochet something. That is why I give this a 5 out of 10. So for second to last place, we have this ball of yarn. I don't know what size it is. I think it's DK weight, maybe? I don't really know. Anyways, it was just not small enough, but not big enough. As you saw, with making amigurumi, it was too hard to just get the hook in the first stitch, and it just wasn't fun to make. I made this little Dobby, which he's just so cute. I mean, just look at him. He's just adorable. But he wasn't fun to make, even though I'm glad I made him. He just wasn't fun. Oh, by the way, I got the Dobby and this yarn to make Dobby from Lucy Lee Collins' kit. I didn't like the yarn and the hook in the kit, but I loved the book. The book with all the crochet patterns was absolutely incredible, like so helpful. I made a bunch of guys, which I might show in a later video, but I just really love making her patterns. Or at least from what I've seen from her one Harry Potter book. They're just really cute and adorable. So that's why I give this a 6 out of 10. Now moving into the top 3, we have the embroidery floss, or the super tiny yarn. I don't have it with me right now because I forgot it in exchange for this beautiful landscape we have around me. Anyways, that one was 3rd place because, like, that was such a surprise when doing the, whatchamacallit, the swatch, yes, the swatch. It was such a surprise about how fun it was to make and how surprisingly easy. It was just crazy. Amigurumi, no, not really. But because it was so fun to make doing the swatches, like, I feel like it's called lace making, where you make stuff like that using the tiny yarn and not really amigurumi. We're not like using the magic loop or anything because you can't really do that with that yarn. But like, maybe you can if you have a smaller hook. I didn't do a smaller hook, but this is still 3rd place. Anyways, but it was just a surprise. And the frogging, come on guys, that was incredible. So that is why I give this yarn a 7 out of 10. And in 2nd place, we have the super bulky yarn. This was not a surprise to me that this came in 2nd place. I love super bulky yarn, especially this brand. It is just so nice. I have the Cozy Occasion. That's the one I tried out. I just really love this yarn. And some people, I don't think, like big bulky yarns like this. I understand jumbo, but this is nice. It creates a big toy and it's fluffy and soft and squishy and just is very, very fun to work with. So that's why I give this yarn a 9 out of 10. In 1st place, my favorite yarn I have ever worked with, this yarn. It is the Yarn Bee from Hobby Lobby Mini Makers. I love this yarn so much. But anyway, we're not talking about yarns. We're talking about the sizes. I love this size of yarn. It's just so nice. It's the perfect size, not too big, not too small. You can make kind of sturdy toys. I mean, if you want squishy toys, you could probably loosen up your tension a little bit to make them squishier. But if you use a good crochet hook size, you can have your little sturdy toys. And I just love this yarn so much to, make toys with. And oh man, this was just really always so nice to work with, especially when doing swatches. Like, super smooth no matter what crochet hook you use. At least that's what I personally found out. That's why I give this one not a 10 out of 10, but a 12 out of 10. Just because I like it so much. Besides a 12 out of 10. Not the yarn. The yarn would be like a 20 out of 10. But anyway, we're not talking about yarns. Now, I believe that concludes the ultimate guide to yarn sizes. I'll see you in the next one.